How you doing, YouTube? Matt Master Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Old-timey beer time. Not necessarily old-timey beers. Boulevard's been around for quite some time, and I've done a couple of their beers as of late, but I have not had this before, kind of, sort of. Because this is their Boulevard Brewing Company Bourbon Barrel Aged Quad. Now, I've had their 6 glass. It's one of my more favorite American-born Belgian quads. I think it just is legit level kind of Belgian style quad. A lot of American breweries screw that up. They get a little, I think it's a candied sugar, maybe a yeast thing or a combination of the two. Boulevard does it quite well. But I've had a barrel aged version of their quad, but it was the rye on rye, I believe. I don't know if it was just a base bourbon barrel age. I'll have to look in my archives. Anyway, I've had a barrel aged version of the quad. I've had the base quad, but I've never had this new 12-ounce format one. It's been around for a while, but I've just never come across it. Or I've never picked it up, let's put it that way. I've come across it many times. But there's like a little podunk, little bottle shop that's about 2 miles away from where I live. They don't carry a bunch of great beers, but they always have rando little good little nuggets floating around there. And I was in a mood for something a bit beefy. Something beyond a hazy or something like that. And this is there, and I'm like, we're doing a bourbon barrel aged quad, so yeah, story time. Excellent, isn't it? Not a big hiss on that sucker. It's already got like a weird kind of creamy top to it. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I got my hazy glass here. I picked up the wrong glass. I'm really doing this ass backwards, but we're gonna drink it and see what she's all about. Date wise, I looked at this briefly. I think this is a year old because there is a date on here. Where was it? And it says it has September 2020 by the Best By date. I don't know if that means no, it can't be a year because we're in 2019 and this is July. So I have on here, I have a 18. So I'm assuming that it is a September 18th of 2018 when this is bottled. This being July 2019 means this is a year old. So I think it has a year on it. It's called science, people. But yeah, I mean, she looks a part of a quad. Definitely a part of the quad because your guys are not going to be able to catch this, but there's a decent amount of floaties in that fucker. That's kind of what you get with quads. You don't really see that much with barrel-aged beers, but it's there. So, index finger. Just off-white head. It's kind of khaki in color. And then it has that rich kind of caramel body to her. Not as hazy as I remember. But then again, that's going with the base 6 glass. It has a little bit of haze to it, but nothing too crazy. I like my quads to be a little bit more murky. So she looks the part of a quad. More specifically, she definitely looks the part of a barrel-aged quad. So you tend to have a little bit of a kind of thinner kind of body when it comes to barrel aging. A lot of that stuff drops out. Particulate and whatnot. So anyway, let's jump to the nose. I mean, it smells nice. You're getting soft cherry cordial, caramel, slightly figgy datey vibes, a little bit of breadiness. Oh, look, I just chimed off all the catchphrases everybody talks about when it comes to a quad. Well, that's kind of the reason why I like 6 glass, because it actually gives you the classic notes of a quad, but it has that added pop of that little bit of bourbon. There's no heat to it. It really does smell like a Belgian quad that's a little bit more crystallized, a little bit more candied. I believe that's your bourbon barrel at work. What's the ABV on here? I actually didn't call that out. 11.2, so it's not a tiny beer. But she smells nice. She smells like a Belgian quad with a bourbon barrel. And that's pretty much it. You know, through and through. You have the beer, you have that little bit of cherry liqueur kind of booziness. Done and done. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's nice. You know, this is my kind of fear when it comes to barrel-aged Belgian-style quads and darks. And my, I don't want to say fear when it comes to just barrel-aging Belgian beers in general, but it's more crystallized, it's more candied, kind of like what I was talking about with the nose. And then it just lacks that kind of lustrous, kind of, not thick, but sultry kind of mouthfeel to quads. For me, almost have to have in order to be called a quad. It's kind of missing that. It's a little bit more crystallized, a little bit more candy-like. So you get the quad in there. but you lack that bready, doughy, little bit of puffy kind of richness that you get in quads. Well done quads, let's put it that way. And while the barrel is there, you're not getting much as far as anything outside of a booze. But not hot booziness, more of a kind of cherry liqueur kind of thing. The soft, maybe soft vanilla character from the oak, but really nothing as far as wood. A little bit of dryness, nothing too crazy, and there's definitely no kind of charriness in there. So the barrel isn't huge in this. The booze is definitely there, but not in a bad way, it's a positive way, but it ends up taking a beer that I think is one of the more stellar Belgian examples, or American-born Belgian examples. And kind of kicks it down a notch, at least in my estimation. I like it. I think it's fun. It's tasty. But I just want a little bit more from a base quad. And when you're talking about barrel aging, to make it the most basic component, like, or not even more basic component, you want to talk about it in the most basic terms whatsoever. If I have a beer that I really like, and you put it in a barrel, it better be that beer with the volume turned up. I understand it's not as basic as that, and that's not how barrel aging works, but that's kind of how I view it. And I don't think this beer got better by being put in a barrel. Now, is it 6 glass in a barrel? That could be a totally different story. I mean, more often than not, you're going to tweak a recipe to kind of work in a barrel. But putting this side by side, at its cost and availability, with 6 glass, I kind of think I dig 6 glass better than this. Not a bad beer by a stretch of the imagination. It's only just a hair under a year old. I'd like to see this with a couple years on it. Maybe it develops into something a little bit crazier. And it is quite nice, and I like it. I just wanted to, be a little bit more robust. I should have done a side-by-side. I should get a base 6 glass and do one of these. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do a rehash of this. Maybe see if my memory fits, because I haven't had a 6 glass in a couple years anyway. So maybe I'm just kind of remembering that beer being a bit more richer, a bit more what I want it to be than what it actually is. So there you go. Another little jammer, little bourbon jammer from Boulevard in the books. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better barrel-aged Belgian-influenced beers I've had as of late. It's not bad, so it's not going to get a no, but it's definitely not towards the top. If I get availability, listen, I paid $5 for this bottle, and I bought it 2 miles away from my house in the middle of nowhere. I'm okay with that. That instance, I'm okay with that. I think you can get this in 4-packs for much cheaper, but hey, $5. I wanted a barrel-aged beer. I got it 2 miles from my house, and I live in the middle of nowhere. I can get down with that and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like American-born Belgian beers and you want a little barreling in your life, because that's kind of where it is. It has that kind of candied, non-Belgian sugar yeasty thing going on. Like, I didn't even really talk about the yeast phenolic in this at all. So it's more of a soft component when it comes to the beer. So if you like Belgian beers, but you think the OG quads are a little bit too rich or a little bit too bready, and you like barrel-aged beers, then this one will do you proper. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little burn barrel aged quad right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.